Right. So I'm staying on brand. My marketing and a matcha, marketing in the madness.
Marketing in the madness.
It is. I mean, I like to create a bit of madness.
Yeah.
So we're here at HumanX, of course, talking about AI. But what I'm very excited about is to unpack, well, you guys at marketing and AI, which is this is marketing in the madness. So as you can tell, I like to talk about marketing on this podcast. So tell me, yesterday you hosted, I guess, one of the inaugural sessions, all about, I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm going to get you to say it, Rob. Tell me the title of your event yesterday, because I loved it.
The AI Ready Marketer.
I love that.
Re-engineering marketing, or the re-engineering marketing engine in the AI era.
See?
Yeah.
And do you know what's funny? So we were introduced by a friend of mine in the UK. He was like, you must interview Rob while you're out in San Francisco at HumanX. I'd already signed up to attend your event.
Oh, you mean just randomly?
Yeah.
Like just you said, I want to go become an AI ready marketer.
Yeah, I did. And now, because I didn't get to join the whole thing because I had the media briefing, you're going to tell me and our lovely listeners everything we need to do to be an AI ready marketeer in the AI era.
Well, the first thing, and this is how we open the event, I think it's really important. There's a lot of nervousness among marketing, brand leaders, creative people about AI and what it means. How do I learn about it? We're already busy enough with everything we have to do. The pressures on the modern marketer have never been greater. The amount of things you have to think about, produce channels you have to produce for, audience segments you have to go after. So we see marketers and creative people just overwhelmed by the concept of this AI transformation. So the first thing we really start with is you have to get your mind and shift it from being nervous and anxious to having a point of view that's optimistic. That AI in some ways will help us really enable and empower our creativity, make teams that spending a lot of time on Slack channels and meetings and writing creative briefs actually spend more time doing creative work with AI. Teams that used to spend like hours trying to wrestle with other teams can kind of work in smaller groups. They can produce more ideas faster. So we get really excited about the possibilities around AI. Important for marketers to have a good mental shift about that. And then after that, we really do help people try to imagine how to get started. Where do I get started? How do I think about a problem I can do with AI? How do I actually have more fun and not get so nervous about what we're going to do? So a lot of what we do at Silverside is really bring marketing teams and brands into this AI transformation revolution by building some great creative ideas, helping them scale it, and then ultimately helping their organizations learn how to be comfortable with the tools, techniques, and that's sort of a journey, as they say.
Well, I love that. Step one, stop being anxious about AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, get excited about it, because I promise you, I truly am.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge for me as a marketer, exactly like you say, is giving the AI tools that I'm using enough love, time, and attention to get them working, which is definitely, I would say, as a marketer myself, that's probably one of my biggest pain points. And my platforms are working great, but if I could dedicate a day, half a day, an hour to actually giving them the knowledge that they need, structuring them, integrating them with other things, like that would be so powerful for me. In fact, I know it would save me a lot of time. It's just, I've got to give up a day to do it. And I can't find that day right now.
Can't you find some really ambitious young intern that wants to work for you desperately, and you say, here's the coolest thing. You can become an AI ready marketer by doing all this AI work for my brand. And they go, oh my God, I can't wait to do that.
Yes,
That's
Georgia,
sort of how we do it.
Go find them.
Yes.
Talking to Georgia in the background. Yeah, we totally need that. Do you know what? You have already inspired me. So I hope the lovely listeners feel the same. That, I think it's so important. Stop being scared. Give it the time, attention, and excitement that it needs to actually get AI ready.
Yeah. And I think a lot of what we find, because we work with startup companies that are actually, how do I do more with very little? And so AI is a kind of a democratizing technology, because you can start building ad campaigns, but even they are so busy and overwhelmed just being a startup. Where do I get to learn about this? Then you go to these huge companies. I mean, we work with Coca-Cola, we work with Panasonic in China, we've worked with all sorts of large brands, Svedka vodka, where we built the first AI Super Bowl ad. And it's funny, even these large organizations with their large budgets, they're all struggling with sort of the same things. I don't have enough time to learn about it. So part of what we end up doing is kind of helping them realize, if you just start in a little part of your marketing operation, let's build some fun creative, let's launch it, test it. And then when you start to see, oh my gosh, I just did something that would have taken me 6 months and I did in 5 days. I tested a crazy idea that we would all have kicked out, and it actually works. So that's when people get excited, and then they realize, okay, now we have to get over this. But it is a little like it is sort of like learning a language, a foreign language. It's really hard to do it just listening to something and kind of imitating some words. You really have to actually take a little time and practice Italian. And so you're right, it does take more time to just dedicate to this and then get ready, practice it. And once you get comfortable, then you start seeing, oh my God, I just did something in 1/10 the time, 1/10 the cost.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's time gives you the power when it
Yeah.
comes to AI. You've got to teach it. You've got to input the right information. You've got to stay on top of how the platform's working, evolving, changing, and you've got to give it love. It's like a little nurturing another. It's almost like, one way I like to think about the AI and the LLMs certainly that we use, treat it like a staff member. You can't expect it to do a good job if you don't onboard it properly and
Right.
give it the information that it needs. So that for me has been a really big, investing the time, which we have, and like many businesses, we have done with ChatGPT, and now we're now doing the potential Claude switchover, because now I've got to teach Claude all the clever things that I taught ChatGPT, which there is a hack for, which I'm about to try and do, downloading everything.
Yes.
And moving it over. But tell me, so step 2. So we've got over our anxiousness. We're excited about AI. We're making the time. What's the next thing that us marketeers need to do in this kind of AI era?
I always feel like you have to find a point. Well, one thing that everybody gets very nervous, big organizations do this really well, which is get so scared about the technology, and some of it's rightfully so, that they'll form a committee and then they'll form a team on top of a team, and then a complex. You have to find teams and people or an individual that is very passionate about the possibilities. And you really have to find a place you're willing to start. This is something where you do not learn anything without doing, and you have to be willing to make mistakes. Because the great part about AI is, unlike the things you used to build in old software or old creative systems that took months to plan it out and think about it, you can ideate and create things so much faster. So you have to be willing to move fast, trust your instincts, and if you need to break a few things, work in an area where you're not going to feel bad about breaking. All the companies we've worked with, whether it's Sazerac that owns Svedka vodka, or whether it's the Coca-Cola team that's out of their innovation group, or whether it is the team at Amazon that we've worked with, they had small teams. They picked one area they were ready to experiment in, and they were willing to move fast in ways that completely break speed records. Like in the case of Coca-Cola, I mean, we were briefed. They said, hey, we have a cool idea. See if you can take AI and make a better version of our holidays are coming spot. It's an experiment. Don't worry about it. And we did it with 4 people on our side, 3 people on Coca-Cola side. So imagine all of Coca-Cola running an advertising creative process with 3 people on their side. And we did it almost all on WhatsApp. We didn't do it in a big giant base camp and have crazy meetings. And we were moving that thing in 8 weeks. That was ready for broadcast. And when we started, they said, you know what, if it's lucky, this might go into a theatrical release. We'll use it for some distributors. But they tested it. Consumers loved it. Their CMO said, this is really good. That's our global spot. And Svedka vodka, similar model. They had a small team. We're going to bring this fembot back. We don't have a lot of money. Let's do it. They picked a very fast test we did in 3 weeks, launched 2 ads for Svedka, relaunched this fembot that they had retired. They said the test worked. Our team got used to AI. We got the creative result. It worked with their audiences. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're like going, okay. But think about it. Move fast, pick an area you're willing to spend a little time, make it happen, learn. Then teams that do that are ready to scale and do really big things with AI. So that's the second lesson. Pick a spot and don't think about it too much and go after it and make things.
I want to go and work in those teams. That's the fun. Like, how exciting is that?
It's changing the nature of creativity
Yeah.
and how teams work. And it's much more agile. In some ways, it's much more intensely creative. I mean, when we did our first Coke, we gave them 3 or 4 concepts. They said, you know what? These concepts are like an advertising agency pitches concepts. We went back 3 days later. We basically gave them the ad fully, almost done. And then we spent the next 6 weeks editing, tuning it, and cleaning it up so it was ready for broadcast.
Right. I need to know more about Silverside. I need some context.
Okay.
So tell me about, your business, what you do, how you work. We've gone into case studies almost already, which I love.
Yeah, I know.
But it's great. I love this. But I want to understand how you guys work and help businesses.
Yeah, so Silverside is a unique model. We launched it a little more than 2.5 years ago out of San Francisco. And really the founders included 2 individuals who had built one of the most successful awarded creative agencies called Pereira Dell. And they also came out of San Francisco in that kind of wave of digital native agencies like AKQA. So they were very understood. They launched Pereira Dell in 2009 in the peak of the social web, mobile web, streaming, cloud, and machine learning. So all of that happened in San Francisco in about 3 years. And I was the founding CEO of Ask Jeeves, and I'd come out of a long history of doing marketing automation technology companies, and we'd worked together. I was one of their early clients. And so when we started Silverside, we really said, look, it's going to happen in this world of brands, where brands are usually slow to adopt technology. Agencies and holding companies are also slow. So we will start in San Francisco with the leading AI platforms, because AI technology companies are really good at AI technology. They're not so good at understanding how creative directors, brand leaders, marketeers think. And they're not really good at figuring out how to adapt their technologies to a modern marketing organization. So we said, we'll start early. We'll be a lab, not a production house or an agency, because as a lab, we'll constantly experiment with the latest technologies. We'll have the closest relationships with the AI platforms, whether it's Luma or Runway or Krea, open source. So we'll be that place that a brand or a startup company can know we are working in the cutting edge technologies. And so when we started the lab, we really said, we'll be committed to helping brands revolutionize their marketing ecosystems with AI. And we were able to work in very small, quick, agile experiments. And we would do that in a way that consulting firms won't. Production studios don't work like that. Agencies and holding companies, they have to work with a giant RFP and a retainer. We were like, let's do an experiment, proof of concept. We'll do it in 2 weeks. Very small budget. And when we see it work, we will then scale that. And then what's unique about Silverside is we go from creating the highly produced, we have the best creative and brand leaders that can produce a Coca-Cola holidays are coming spot. But then we continue to add that with technologists who can automate all that content. So you can scale a whole world of content to feed social, to feed all of your marketing channels. And then the last thing we do, this is the exciting part, we then help those marketing organizations. We will turn over our software and help make them able to build all that AI themselves.
Wow.
That's called transformation.
It really is.
Look at how excited you are about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you built your own technologies, or are you kind of building together?
Where we're knitting together the world's greatest AI technologies and platforms around the way a creative team works.
I love that.
Not the other way. Creative team, you learn how to run in my platform and tool, and you're like, and they're writing prompts, or they're trying to figure out, but we're adapting our systems to the way they market.
Yeah.
The channels they market in, the way their creative brand thinks. So
you're kind of doing that AI, setup for them.
Yeah.
And building together a best of breed, set of AI tools that are all, I guess, a lot of the time talking to each other, but also feeding it. You're doing the stuff that I need.
Yeah.
But you're also feeding it that information, giving it the kind of marketing brain, feeding it the brand assets, so that it kind of knows the essence of the brand and everything.
Exactly.
Love this.
But it's funny, where does that knowledge live? There might be a brand book, there might be some campaign guidelines. In the end, it lives inside the creative director's head, their team's head, their brand strategy team. And most tools and platforms don't take the time with those individuals to get the whole brand system right, and the way you think about the campaign assets and what makes that a brand distinctive or its campaign strategy. So because we are brand marketeers and creative folks at one end, but we're also technologists and automation and sort of AI experts at the other, we do that work. And I always feel like that's the thing you need to train an AI system. Otherwise, you're just putting your brand inside a giant public model. So if you do a red sports car, it's going to look just like your competitor's red sports car.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're going to genericize creativity because everyone's going to be in these platforms and tools getting the same look and feel. So we were very big believers. You have to kind of build that AI brand brain. It has to sit with you and your team, not over here in a public model. So isn't that exciting?
Very exciting.
Yes.
And it's so true. It's, everything you forget. Well, I forget. Probably lots of other people are much better about their data privacy than I am. I'm terrible. I give anyone all my data. But, that you are. Every time we're using these, it's called OpenAI. Like, every time we're using chat, every time we're using any of these platforms, we're teaching it our IP. We're educating it. You could just end up looking, and that's what it does, right? It gives everyone the same kind of stuff.
Well, so we're going to have a lot of content that's going to get produced by you and your competitors and upstarts, and it's going to start looking very similar. So we're big believers that some of this AI revolution is, we're all focused on, can I make an ad with a beauty product or a pair of gym shoes and make 1,000 versions for every different marketing channel for my commerce website? That's like going to be the easy stuff. And every competitor in your e-commerce channel will look exactly like you. So brands and marketeers have to master that, but they have to really think about where AI is going, because the real future is how we engage our customers totally differently. Because AI isn't just making and copying stuff we've done for 15 years. It's creating a whole new engagement model with consumers, whether it's how they search for your brand, how you engage with it, how personalized you can make an experience. So we try to help marketers say, making an ad, a 60-second or a 30-second ad with AI for 90% less cost, that's going to happen. We'll get over, did I make the human look good? Because the technology will make the humans look great. It's going to be, how do you want to reimagine your customer engagement? How do you reimagine your brand engagement in a world of AI that can literally personalize every experience you want or localize it? So that's where we want people to start focusing.
And you're on that journey already. Now, I got to hear the content that you guys talked about yesterday with Svedka vodka.
Yeah.
I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit already, but they had quite a big problem, didn't they? Like, where they came from. In fact, they'd launched this AI robot and it had kind of flopped, but they managed to turn it around. Can you talk to me about the Svedka work that you guys have been doing together and where that's taken them today?
Well, I think what's really been fun is that they knew that they had to bring back this brand asset that had been retired because Svedka didn't have any distinction as a brand. It had sort of been lost. The sales were down almost negative 15% a year. It used to be a very great global spirits brand. The category has gotten even more crowded. It's very hard to distinguish yourself. And so they came up with a very unique and bold idea to bring back this fembot that they had retired almost 15 years ago, I think, or 12 years ago, and bring it back as an AI generated character. And then to think about their whole marketing campaign using AI as the center point of the technology, which meant you could build these television spots, you could point to the Super Bowl. But what they did is when we built the system, you could engage a whole group of people on TikTok to make the fembot do a dance. They engaged thousands of people in a contest who loaded up their dance moves. It immediately could get integrated into the AI system so that the robot immediately could do the dance move that this one TikTok fan had done. So you engage the fan. You could take the model and system we'd built and you could create point of sale assets almost immediately that you could put into bars. That's always takes time. It's hard. You could then create a whole social campaign. So these things we love to do as marketers, multi-channel, in brand engagement, you were able to do this at a scale and speed with a team size that now their sales are up almost 40%. And they're now one of the fastest growing spirits brands in the world, which is stunning. That's like 6 to 7 months they did that.
Yeah, that's AI powered growth right there.
Yeah.
Literally.
And teams just having fun doing their ideas and not holding back. I think of something, 2 days later, it's live. So
amazing. I honestly love that campaign, everything about it. I loved watching the videos yesterday. I love that she got a boyfriend. Like, it was cute.
Yeah.
So cute. I love it. Right. So back to AI marketing. Is there anything that we haven't talked about? The AI ready marketer, what else do they need to do to get ready for this next era of growth?
I think when people begin to scale, it really, we covered this in our event yesterday, and it's always the topic that people go, oh no, oh my gosh, are we really going to go to the data topic? But we're in a world of, imagine it, you can start producing limitless content, understanding how to put the data that we track and measure. These things are going to become important. We always talk about having our data infrastructure for modern marketing, and we've gotten so much better, but oftentimes people have things in, digital asset management systems and content here, and you threw an idea out and you have all the wrong naming conventions. When you start producing the kind of content and the scale of what you could do with testing and really driving results for your marketing system and your ecosystems, I think people really have to kind of at one point take seriously, I really have to kind of get my infrastructure, the way I think about AI and data ready AI systems. So that's just something I always call it out. And I think the only part that I do believe is really important, we covered it a lot, is just if you're running an organization, it's having the organization begin to really buy in and have the time and rewarding their participation in this, because it really is tricky. Most of the resistance to adoption is teams are like, hey, I tried it, didn't work, we're done with AI.
Yeah.
So I do think finding ways to have organizations participate, and you had said, like, how do I find the time that day or the half day? How do I find people who are rewarded and excited about doing experimentation? That's where we would get young people doing things, and suddenly they're directing AI ads for the Super Bowl and they're 22 years old. So part of that is just thinking about the organization and really bringing them along and making it exciting and fun for people versus, oh my gosh, I'm already busy enough and now you want me to learn a new foreign language. So I think that is an important piece for most modern marketers, is how to think about the organization you're leading.
Yeah. Bring people with you on the journey.
Yeah.
I want to map back to the data piece though, because I literally just interviewed Google, who are part of this obviously Google are doing so much when it comes to AI agentic. And I was lucky enough to interview them a couple of weeks ago in Vegas, doing my American tour. And they made me realize something that I hadn't thought about in terms of my own data and also just how I search for things is, one, we all search differently using AI now. So some people search by taking a photo and uploading an image. Some people search by chatting into your phone. Some people search by writing. So there's lots of different ways that we're searching. So if you haven't labeled your images correctly, really, like the AIs aren't going to find you. I did this live. I actually was searching. So I saw on a movie that I was watching a jacket that I liked, and I could see the logo was on the arm, but I couldn't quite like make it out properly. I didn't recognize the logo. So I took a photo, put it into ChatGPT, like, which brand is this jacket? I want to find it so I can buy it. And it came back and it gave me the wrong brand. And I know that because I recognized the brand that it gave me. So I had to challenge it until it then eventually gave me the right brand, because probably neither of the brands have labeled their data correctly. And this is the thing now, like, and these are both, I mean, I'm not sure if I should call them out or not, but these are both big brands. So that data piece, I mean, maybe easier for Svedka vodka because it will say it on the photos, but really important how you label your images, how how you're organizing your data, because if you don't, the LLMs won't find you. And that's how so many, I mean, I also saw it, sorry, I'm just riffing about AI search now, but like the other thing that was really interesting is, SEO is still super important. Google is still ranked as number one. Of course, people, there's a lot of chatter about how people are searching differently. And apparently the intent when you're searching on an LLM and the conversion is much higher than traditional SEO and Google, etc. So it's, people aren't, it's not like 80% of the buying is now happening from LLMs, but it's coming. I can't remember the last time I Googled something.
Well, I think this is, again, one of those pieces where if you spend all your time thinking about, can I make a human in a video ad, or can I do, all these will be resolved with technology. The thing that I think we have to really imagine is like how people do everything when there's an advisory intelligence. I want to go to Italy. I'm not going to go TripAdvisor, favorite restaurants, Rome. I'm going to go and say, hey, I'm this kind of person. I love music. I kind of like museums, but the out of the way ones, you're going to describe who you are. You're going to build a travel persona, and really crazy people who build these things. I'm following this band, one weird obscure, they're traveling through Europe. Make a total trip for me that puts me in fun little Airbnbs in towns that are out of way, and give me a culinary experience that's all the coolest, like out of the way. And you will get a really good trip.
Yeah.
That is going to change. And then when you think about how people are using, and medical is really interesting to see how people are, Dr. ChatGPT MD, but we're changing the whole way because the Google search market and engines were built on a level of acceptable inefficiency. And I would land in places where people were monetizing my search traffic. And the only way you finally got to a brand is you cruise around the paid content, the unpaid. You go to the website, you visit 100 places, and they'd be monetizing 70% of those clicks with somebody, sometimes a bad result. And now you're going to do that whole advisory experience. So the better the LLMs get, the more brands know how to knit their imagery inside that journey. It's like having your best friend. Hey, I've got my best friend advisor. I need some help with the problem.
Yeah.
And I do almost 90% of my initial searches through one of the LLMs. I just don't go to Google and do a search anymore.
No, me neither.
And I think that part is going to be, and then brands, once they understand that's the behavior, we'll all have our own advisors. So
we will. Yeah, we'll have our own agents. That's what they said. Within the next year or two, you'll have like a household agent, often that will just go and buy things for you without you even up, because it will know you so well. It will get you to know you and your family so well. Off it goes and just buys everything for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't decide if I want that or not, because I actually quite like shopping. But we'll see. Now, one last comment. We're at HumanX. I don't know how much you've got to go around the show because we're only on day 2? No, first day was only half a day. But one thing that you've seen that's inspired you that our listeners might find interesting.
Yeah, the one thing that really inspired me was that we made the Silverside the opening for the big opening ceremony that kicked it all off before Al Gore came on stage. We made that video. So when I saw it, I hadn't seen the finished version because our team made it.
Silverside,
and I was like, that's our video.
Yeah.
I was very inspired by our team's work. That's a sort of, I'm sort of patting ourselves on the back. But aside from that,
can you give us that video, and I'll make sure we use it in our clips. We'll make sure that you guys see it because it was really fun. I loved it.
Yeah, you know what? I get most inspired. I spend a lot of times with the companies, so I get a chance to meet a lot of the startup companies in the space. And so it's great to have so many groups here. We're talking about content and we're talking about building data infrastructure. And when I listen to what young entrepreneurs are solving, I just get like blown away by the kind of work they're doing, like a group that we work with and just initially, but we got to meet them here. And at the event is a group called Fireworks AI, but they're building these kind of fully integrated layers of infrastructure inside major progressive marketing operations where it's all the AI kind of sits in your enterprise. So it's almost like a bigger enterprise brain with supporting modern marketing operations, not like knitting together tools and this and all this stuff that you have to do. So I get really excited by kind of where this whole thing will just become invisible. We'll just change the way we do things.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the future. Honestly, a world with AI in it, to me, for a marketer, feels a lot more exciting. I know I can get more done. I can be more creative. And also, like you said, free up my time to do the stuff that I love rather than spending time on things that I'm not quite so excited by, like spreadsheets. They can go. AI can do my spreadsheets for me now.
Yeah.
One last thing. What's next for Silverside? I hear maybe Europe might be coming into the plans quite soon. Oh my
gosh. Well, we've been spending some time in Europe. So we are excited that we will be launching our London office in the UK very shortly, I think in the next month or two. And so we're really excited about it. We've had a small team there and the reception and response has been unbelievable. It's like everything we do, we send someone in, we go, let's see what it's going to be like. And we've already had incredible and exciting response. And it's a great market. I think Europe has always been a little different than Europe, because it's much more fragmented in terms of the different countries. But in some ways, it's sort of a perfect place for AI because of the translation, the localization, the ability to create campaigns and scale them. And also, I think the regulatory environment is always a little bit more, conservative than maybe the US has always been. But you can see the companies and everyone really getting excited about it. And Silverside is a fun, friendly, innovative, curious, happy group of AI marketing transformation folks. So I think people just like having a group that understand brand at its core, creativity at its core. And then we're from San Francisco, so we get how the technology works. So
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys heard it here first. Silverside are coming to the UK.
Yeah.
And they're going to help us European marketers really innovate with AI. I honestly can't wait. Thank you.
Give all of your time back so you can travel to all those wonderful countries you get to go to in Europe.
I know. We can hop around Europe.
Yeah.
Because you guys are doing the work for us.
Yeah.
I love this. Rob, thank you so much. That was amazing. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Oh, thanks. It was
Can't
great.
wait for more.